The homelessness epidemic is inescapable.
Enforcing its ban on homeless people.
Is there nowhere else to go? Is there just nowhere else that they want to go?
Our city deserves to hold people accountable to bad behavior.
Voters fed up with rising homelessness.
Clear them out.
The push to ship out, arrest, and get homeless people out of sight is gaining alarming support across the U.S.
Criminalizing sleeping in public spaces.
And in the coming months, protections against criminalization may be overturned in the Supreme Court.
Do I protect myself from the elements and risk going to jail, or do I not and risk hypothermia and dying?
So is it cruel and unusual punishment? The Supreme Court will tackle that question.
At the center is a small town in Oregon.
Grants Pass.
Grants Pass.
Grants Pass.
Grants Pass.
Invisible People founder Mark Horvath investigates what's really going on in Grants Pass right now.
We get a ticket just for trying to live.
30 citations in a year and a half.
I've been to jail 5 times just this year.
So this park is probably the most controversial.
They hit me with a stick. They wanted to drag them out and beat them.
Families out here sleeping in tents.
Because this ruling will determine whether cities can arrest homeless people across the country.
If that's allowed, many cities will try to run all of the homeless people out of their community.
The stakes can be higher.
We will ban urban camping. Violators of these bans will be arrested. We will then open up large parcels of inexpensive land where the homeless can be relocated.
Rather than addressing the structural inequities causing homelessness, many politicians from both parties and at all levels ignore proven solutions to homelessness, opting instead for a punitive response that will.
All right, Shalom. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachaha, Quadash. I want to give double honors to the head apostle, Nettles, the great millstone, who rule well and teach well. Peace and blessings to you, sincere Akim, that are pushing this truth all over the four corners of the earth. Salakia. Week in and week out in all truth and sincerity. I believe I'm in the title of this video, The Homeless Crisis in America, because it's definitely a crisis. All right. You go to these various different cities all over the United States and you see the vastly increasing population of people who are homeless, whether they're just outright homeless without a job, whether they're drug addicts or drunks or have some type of condition, or they are a working class homeless, because you have a new category of people categorized as the working class homeless who work jobs, who have degrees. Some of them even have masters, high level college degrees, and work 1, 2, maybe even 3 jobs, but can barely make ends meet and can't afford, housing, can't afford the high prices of rent, the increasing, high prices of rent, because rent is constantly going up. In some of these cities, rent can be upwards of $2,500 to $5,000 a month. All right. Now I want to get this. I want to go into this article real quick. It says roughly 653,000 people reported experiencing homelessness in January of 2023. And we know those numbers are being downplayed, okay, because the powers that be want to portray America as the place you want to be, the place you want to go, okay, the land of milk and honey, the place where you can go raise your kids, retire, feel safe, the greatest nation on earth, right? It says up roughly 12% from the same time a year prior, and 48% from 2015. So from 2015 to 2023, you got a 48% increase in people reporting to be homeless. It says that marks the largest single year increase in the country's unhoused population on record. All right. It says, and this was a Harvard research, okay, a Harvard census, okay, account on the homelessness in the United States, okay, which they do a census so to speak, every year. All right.
Only make homelessness worse and hurt all of us. Criminalization punishes the one group of people who have no power to fix the crisis.
The DPPD had my stuff thrown away, and in one of my totes was my son's urn. My son's forever gone, and I only have a piece of him, a urn necklace that I keep dear to my heart, you know, like that's things I can't get back. It makes it really hard to want to keep going on. All I can say to people is don't forget what it is to be human. Be kind. We're all just trying to survive.
If your issue is that Black Lives Matter, if you care about the experience of LGBTQ people, if you care about people living with disabilities, if you care about the elderly, all of these traditionally marginalized communities are going to be impacted. If those are your issues, this is your issue.
We knew we had to go where it all started, and with the boots on the ground.
Yeah, well, this is this homelessness crisis is systematically being pushed by these wicked elites. All right, this is all being constructed in their secret councils, and it's happened not overnight. It's happened over a period of time. All right, with the influx of prices, with the various closing down of various different businesses, with the increase in technology, jobs have been exceedingly increasing more and more, and they're soon going to vastly increase on a very high level, with AI technology, with these different, robotic mechanisms, etc. All right, where they really do not need these people in the amount, that are on the earth. They're really in the process, or I should say, really their agenda, is circling around, the depopulation of the earth. All right. They're trying to get rid of, the majority of the people that are on earth, which they call them concerning these wicked elites or these people in the know under these wicked elites. They call you useless eaters. All right. And that's why they're trying to, push AI to the max, push these different technologies, robotics to the max, so they can still be efficient, they can still create, they can still manage, they can still product, various different things and items, all right, without humans, okay? And we're seeing that more and more, and that's why they have to put in these various commercials and in these various reveals of new robotics that they're just there to tend and help the human with various different work efforts, when really they're there to replace you. Okay.
Ground, we met up with co-founder of Mint, the mobile integrative navigation team, who does outreach and bridges the gap for the houseless in Josephine County.
Good morning, sunshine. Did you take your medicine? Do you need water?
Yeah, and they make these documentaries to make it seem like there's people out there that are concerned and that are trying to help, and then they need your funding, that they need the help from the people, they need your donations, and it's all bullshit. Okay. If you think that you can, change this crisis, because it is a crisis, then you're only fooling yourself. All right. Matter of fact, let's go look up the definition of crisis real quick. It says a time of intense, difficult trouble or danger. And this is exceedingly increasing more and more as we get to the very, very end. All right. We're coming into the times of Jacob's trouble. All right. And, with these wicked elites pushing their agenda, there's going to be a lot of casualties in this war. Okay. Esau is, his main eye is focused on you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. But in the event of him doing these various different things to you and trying to destroy you, etc., there's going to be some casualties of war. All right. You see a large number of these Edomites suffering. Okay. Homeless, asking for money. Okay. Addicted to drugs and various other matters. It says a time of intense, difficult trouble or danger, a catastrophe, an emergency, all right, a predicament, America is in a serious predicament, and this place is being brought down to the ground systematically by Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. Okay. And this place is never going to rise up again, man. Okay. America has hit a turning point long time ago, and it's going downhill. All right. This place is circling the toilet bowl, even though the majority of our people, they can't see it. Okay. Because really they're bamboozled by these wicked elites and their witchcraft. Okay. It says a critical point, a critical period. All right. We're in a critical period, and it's only going to get worse. All right. And this is what Donald Trump, had to say about this situation, and he said if he's reelected, he's going to put certain things in place that make being homeless a crime and punishable by detainment, fines, and, being thrown in jail and being relocated as well. Let's play this real quick.
Once great cities have become unlivable, unsanitary nightmares, surrendered to the homeless.
And I'm gonna say this as well. The homelessness crisis could be fixed overnight, by the powers that be, these wicked elites who've been put in the position of power. All right. The homelessness crisis could be fixed overnight. All right. These wicked elites could very, very easily, with very little effort, set up different avenues, different paths. Okay. Different sources to help the homeless, get them back on their feet, provide them funding. Okay. They could, set up various different things to provide more jobs, to raise, minimum wage, but not just minimum wage, wages that are on a level for people that they don't have to spend 50, 60 to 70% of their monthly income on rent. Okay. And that's just rent alone. That's not including, your utilities, gas, food. Okay. And you got people living in mansions, and this, I did a video a couple weeks ago concerning the working homeless, and you have a category of people who live in damn near mansions that are angry and mad and barely are making it, or basically living paycheck to paycheck, even though they live in a damn near a $500,000-$700,000 house, might have 3 or 4 cars, kids, this and that. Okay. But, to obtain and keep up with that lifestyle, they're basically living paycheck to paycheck. All right.
The drug addicted and the violent and dangerously deranged. We're making many suffer for the whims of a deeply unwell few, and they are unwell indeed. The homeless have no right to turn every park and sidewalk into a place for them to squat and do drugs. Americans should not have to step over piles of needles and waste as they walk down a street. Under my strategy, working with states, we will ban urban camping wherever possible. Violators of these bans will be arrested, but they will be given the option to accept treatment and services if they're willing to be rehabilitated. For those who...
Yeah, so what's the condition if they're not willing to be rehabilitated? All right. They're talking about detainment for these people that have no place to go, that have no other options, and even, placing them in a facility or an offsite location, at their own discretion. Okay. And, really, I really see Esau deleting a lot of these homeless people, man, on a high level. Okay. And the ones that are left are basically going to, be persuaded on a very high level and given an ultimatum to take that micro CHIP, in order to receive these different grants and these different fundings and these different benefits that I could see being established in the near future, especially circling around, this universal basic income that they're going to try to push. Okay. And all that's going to just be an extension and circle around this MOTB, which is the microchip, man. Okay.
Who are just temporarily down on their luck, we will work to help them quickly reintegrate into a normal life. For the
majority of these people that are homeless, or even the working class homeless, This is not a temporary thing. Okay, the majority of these people that are homeless have been homeless for years and years and years. All right, and it's they basically have gotten adjusted and acclimated to the situation. All right, because it's very hard to get out of that situation. I'm not saying people haven't done it or people can't do it, but you got to understand that things are constantly going up, and there's no sight, okay, of these particular things going down, like rent, gas prices, inflation. Okay, inflation is at an all-time high, and it's going to increase, and we're about to see a big spike in inflation. That things are going to increase drastically. All right.
Those who have addictions, substance abuse, and common mental health problems, we will get them into treatment.
And then that's all being pushed by these wicked elites, man. All right, they push the drugs in the streets. They push and persuade, the crime rate up. Okay. They have a heavy influence. Okay, a very high influence on the earth, especially over here in America. Okay. Just look what's on TV. Just look what's in the media. Just look look at rap music, man. Look at black culture. All right. They're constantly pushing, all right, to do various different things that get you in these situations, that get you in their prison system, etc. All right. And they benefit off it in multiple ways. Let's go to Isaiah chapter 47 real quick. This is Isaiah 47:1. It says, "Come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon." Now, this is talking about America. All right. It says, "There is no throne, O daughter of the Chaldeans, for thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate." All right. People are seeing this place for what it is, man. This place is being exposed, man. People come over here from other countries, and what they walk into from what the idea they had in their mind before they step foot on American soil is completely different, night and day. Okay. They get off that plane, they get off that boat, and they're stepping over people that, don't have a place to stay. They're living in tents, living in their car. People holding up signs, asking for change, asking for money. They see the high crime rate. Okay. As well as the various other things that happen in this place. All right. And this is all a part of these, these elites' agenda. They're actually bringing down America, okay, to a level and to a point, that these people cry out and demand a solution, okay, because we know these devils work in a problem, reaction, solution basis, man. All right. And we see the problem that has been created. And, we also have seen and are seeing the reaction from the people, and this devil's about to come in with his solution, and we know what that solution is. All right. It says, "Sit on the ground. There is no throne, O daughter of the Chaldeans, for thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate." Now, I want to go to the BBE version real quick. It says, "Come and take your seat in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. Come down from your seat of power and take your place on the earth, O daughter of the Chaldeans, for you will never again seem soft and delicate." So this place is never going to rise up again, man. This place is never going to be restored. Okay. This place is, you see these people talking about concerning with, the President Biden said, "Build back better." That's never going to happen, man. Okay. And when they say build back better and make America great again, and these various other slogans and statements, they're referring to the time when you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans were in hardcore slavery, man. All right.
And for those who are severely mentally ill and deeply disturbed, we will bring them back to mental institutions where they belong.
I'll grab you some water, okay?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Tickets for any reason they can find, scattering clear across town.
Coming from. So we asked an expert from the National Homelessness Law Center.
Our organization has been tracking the criminalization of homelessness for the past 20 years, we found these ordinances have been growing as visible homelessness continues to expand in our communities. So Grants Pass, like much of America, is experiencing a homelessness crisis caused by the lack of affordable housing. Since the early 2000s, Grants Pass has more than doubled in size, but it hasn't doubled its affordable housing stock. The vacancy rate is less than 1%, meaning if you lose your apartment, it's basically impossible to find a new one. As landlords have continued to raise the rents, we see residents who have lived there for a long time becoming homeless. There is no emergency shelter in the community that's accessible to everybody. And so
and a lot of these shelters have been shut down. I know here in Richmond, Virginia, they shut down a homeless shelter, and all these homeless that were once in these shelters and once went to these different places where they were fed food daily and giving shelter, now they're out there in the streets. Okay, and this has happened in various cities all over the United States. They've shut down these shelters. They've stopped the funding to these various groups and organizations, man. And this is all set up by design, man. Okay, let's go to Proverbs 29:2. It says, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. And see, the righteous are not in authority right now, man. Okay, so that's why you see, these various things happening on earth, man. All right. The wicked is ruling right now, man. All right. And his house is completely out of order, man. There's nothing but, madness and disorder going on in Babylon. All right. Matter of fact, let's do something real quick. Bear with me one moment. This right here is the face of America, man. And you see this, especially in these large cities, but you see this all over the United States. Even when you go to these smaller cities and these smaller towns and these counties, you see this type of stuff, man. And, they're trying to outlaw it because it's actually getting out of hand. You got these so-called good upstanding citizens that, make decent money and this, that, and so forth, pay their taxes, complaining about, this stuff right here, which is bringing down the value of their housing, their properties, and they have to deal with this shit, man. On a daily basis, I see constantly, you go into these different neighborhoods and areas, and you see a nice house. It might be $300,000, $400,000, $500,000. And you look across the street or down the street, and you see a house that looks completely out of place. You'd be like, what the hell? Like, you see somebody barely making it, and it just off the strength of the way the house is set up, and how the yard looks, the house is set up, how the house is being taken care of. You can kind of get an idea of the type of person that lives in there. And then you look down the street and you see damn near a mansion, man. Hey, this is a place of confusion, man. It used to be where you see nice houses. It was in a neighborhood where there was nothing but these nice particular houses and establishments, man. Okay, well, hey, not no more. Okay. It says, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice, but when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn. Right, and the people are in mourning right now.
The homelessness epidemic is inescapable.
Enforcing its ban on homeless people.
Is there nowhere else to go? Is there just nowhere else that they want to go?
Our city deserves to hold people accountable to bad behavior.
Voters fed up with rising homelessness.
Clear them out.
The push to ship out, arrest, and get homeless people out of sight is gaining alarming support across the U.S.
Criminalizing sleeping in public spaces.
And in the coming months, protections against criminalization may be overturned in the Supreme Court.
Do I protect myself from the elements and risk going to jail, or do I not and risk hypothermia and dying?
So is it cruel and unusual punishment? The Supreme Court will tackle that question.
At the center is a small town in Oregon.
Grants Pass.
Grants Pass.
Grants Pass.
Grants Pass.
Invisible People founder Mark Horvath investigates what's really going on in Grants Pass right now.
We get a ticket just for trying to live.
30 citations in a year and a half.
I've been to jail 5 times just this year.
So this park is probably the most controversial.
They hit me with a stick. They wanted to drag him out and beat him.
Families out here sleeping in tents.
And a lot of these people are Edomites, man, that are going through these different situations and involved in this homelessness crisis, man. Here it is. Esau is supposed to be in his kingdom. Well, he is in his kingdom. He is in his rulership. And he's out here suffering alongside of Jake. And who do you have to blame for that, man? You got to blame your own people for that, because your own people are in rulership. Okay, just like we read in Proverbs 29. You know, the wicked is ruling and the people are mourning. The people are angry. You're seeing all types of riots. You know, you're seeing all types of protests. You know. You know, you're seeing protests that haven't been seen in America before concerning, you know, these protests at these colleges, man. We ain't never, you know, just until recently, you know, I would say right around the Black Lives Matter era, we didn't see protests on a high level and a high volume like we're seeing today at colleges, man, and these various different establishments where you know, that are for learning, okay, and bettering yourself and this, that, and so forth. All right. You know, you got protests happening at all these different colleges where riot police are coming out, people are being detained, thrown in jail. Okay, and ultimately they very well could be kicked out of college. You know, they could lose their scholarships. You know, and various other, you know, these parents send their kids to college to learn and get a degree, and here it is, they're getting a phone call that your son or your daughter's been thrown in jail for you know, doing a college protest, man. Okay, and we know Esau's got his crisis actors, and he's heavily influencing these so-called rallies and protests, which a lot of times they turn violent, you know. And it's the same play. Esau's using the same playbook he used during Black Lives Matter, man. You know, it was the same thing, man. Where all you Black Lives Matter niggas go anyway, man? It's like y'all just crawled under a rock. You know, these niggas was on the scene doing all types of protests and rallies, and it's funny how these things happen simultaneously all over the United States. You know, and that further proves that you know, Esau is behind all this, man. Okay, let's close out on 2nd Ezra, the 15th chapter. And I want to go down to around the 17th verse. You know, because this is only going to increase and it's only going to get worse. All right. And we're really approaching, you know, ultimately we're approaching the time of Jacob's trouble, but we're coming to the time of civil war and race wars, man. Okay. And it's all being fueled or gaslighted by these wicked elites. All right, this is 2nd Ezra 15 and 15. It says, "For the sword and the destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands." And we know that's talking about World War III, but it's also talking about, you know, just the clash of different people, man. You know, you got a great division in America, people that are for Biden, people for Trump, people for Democrats, people for Republican, people for this bill, people for not for that bill, you know, people that are for Israel, people for the Hamas. All right, people stand for this, people stand for that. There's a complete division, you know, on all avenues, man. All right. And there's going to come a breaking point. Okay, there's going to come a point where these people are like, to hell with protesting, to hell with, you know, doing this peaceful gatherings, holding these signs, and even, you know, lightly clashing with these police. Okay, they're gonna amp it up. It's gonna hit the next level very, very soon, man. Okay, to the point where they're gonna the powers that be they're gonna declare martial law. All right, and you're gonna see these Gurga troops. Slack it. You're gonna see these different troops and the military and different military branches being dispatched and dispersed amongst these different cities, and they're going to lock these cities down, man, and they're going to start throwing people in various different detainment camps very, very soon, man. Okay, it says verse 16, for there shall be sedition among men and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and we're seeing a little bit of that, a little bit of that concerning these different protests that are happening all over the United States, man. All right, but it's going to increase. It says they shall not regard their kings nor princes, in the course of their actions shall stand in their power. These college students, they ain't regarding the police, they ain't regarding the laws of the land, they're not regarding the words of their so-called president. Okay, so just imagine when the temperature rises even higher, man. All right, not only these college students, but you're going to have these so-called good upstanding citizens really not only turn on the government and the powers that be, but they're going to turn on each other. It says they shall not regard their kings nor princes, in the course of their actions shall stand in their power. They're going to take matters into their own hands. All right. It says a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able, because there's going to be lockdowns. There's going to be heavy restrictions, heavy laws, which we're already seeing a little bit of that concerning different laws that have been put in place surrounding and circling around these various different protests that are going on. All right. It says, for because of their pride, the city shall be troubled. The houses shall be destroyed and men shall be afraid, because there's not going to be no police task force on a level where you can pick up the phone and call 911. The police are going to turn in their badges. These different police stations are going to be shut down. And there's going to be there's going to be a time of complete lawlessness, man. All right. And you're going to see different militias. You're going to see different groups of people, like the scriptures we just read, invading one another. Okay. You got weirdos and crazies and sickos that are doing various different things while society is still up and running. How much more when society shuts down? It says, and for because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. It says, a man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of their lack of bread and great tribulation. Okay. And these are the times that we're entering into, man. A time of famine, no food, no water. Okay. Because as prices rise and, inflation and also the collapse of the economy, guess what, man? All these different establishments of food, okay, all these different grocery stores and the corner store and these different places where you get your goods and the truckers, man. Once the trucking industry shuts down and these truckers start delivering foods to these various different businesses, you got your famine, man. Famine can occur in America very, very easily, okay, because people are highly dependent on the government, more so than these other nations, man. All right. Lord willing, that was edifying. To the next time. Shalom.